Hi, Scatty Betties. It's me, Levi. So, June selections. June selections are due, and we're also going to be doing a little bit of reflecting on May. And for May, I did this sort of natural magical theme with lots of like animal decks and lots of like fairy decks, and I didn't like it. I didn't really like it. I mean, it was okay, but I did deviate from the path quite a bit. Felt pulled to use other decks. Got some new stuff in, got some gifts and shit like that. So I was like, do I want to continue this monthly selection, or do I kind of want to, and do I want to, like, do I want to, and this sounds really childish, I don't really want to stick to something if I don't like it. For some reason, when you post a video like that, you kind of feel like you have to. And that's kind of, I don't know, but that's not what I want. And also, who really cares, right? It's a little commitment for yourself. I know that I would probably, unless it's my own decks that I made myself, I probably wouldn't be able to work with a deck, with one deck for a full month. If I can't do it with like 8 to 10. And that says a lot about me, doesn't it? I don't know. Is that a bad thing? I just like variety, I guess. So I didn't really like it, and also I felt sort of compelled slash forced by myself to kind of pick the more, how do you say, to pick decks that I hadn't been using in a while, or to pick decks that I, you know, to pick decks that I thought would be considered as cool. So all in all, I did learn a lot from that process. Basically, telling myself, well, I'm literally taking other people, aka the viewers or the followers on Instagram, into consideration when it's my when it's my self-help tarot style journey. So, if I feel like I want to use really like dark witchy aesthetic, oh, let me yawn a little bit. It's been a long day, y'all. If I want to use decks like that, and then the next day use this bubblegum pink oracle deck that's all about love and light, that is who I am, I guess. So I did sort of make a selection, but it's more of a, and I did already use some, and I am already kind of like, so some of them can be switched out. I have really been enjoying my photo collage style a lot again, but first let me grab this beast out of my crate. So this is new. I got this from Salon des Arcans. It was a birthday present for myself, and it's called The Nameless One by Zia Hunt, who did The Children of Letha, which I had, but didn't really like. This crate is heavy, y'all. Let me put this down. Hold up. So it comes in this really, really lovely box, and this is a tarot deck, and then, so 78 cards, and then a 30 card oracle deck on top of that, which makes for quite an intense deck. I can barely hold it in my hands. The cards are really oversized too, so obviously I would probably take the oracle deck out. But it's really, 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 really stunning. Are the oracle cards still separate? Yeah, I think so. Well, whatever. Who cares? So you basically get these nameless tarot cards, which is interesting. because, you know, normally you'd heavily rely on the title, whereas right now you might actually kind of want to maybe go with the sigil, with whatever the sigil invokes. And you know, and the sigil takes center stage, and then we have these really lovely, crisp yet muted illustrations in the back, which I love. And there is, I believe, this huge ass guidebook grimoire that comes with the deck, which is as about expensive as the deck itself. So I was like, no, I'm a pass on that. Although this deck does come with a with an actual like guidebook. It almost feels like these are the Oracle cards, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. I do feel like that, but I'm not sure. I think I shuffled it from Martin the other day. I mean, this is definitely not a deck that you would use for others. This is a deck that you would use for yourself if you had the time. And it's not, you know, for the majors, like I probably should have taken these Oracle cards out. But these first 30 probably are the Oracle cards, because for the minors, it's actually pretty easy, to be honest. So for example, and even the majors, for example, this would be the Ace of Coins. That's very clear. You don't really need a guidebook for that. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8 of Swords. So, you know, like it's Pippish, and it's gorgeous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of Cups. Love that. And it's really, really well done. Like, I liked the Children of Letha, but I didn't love it. And the printer they use have this rose petal finish that's not good. This deck just has a matte lamination, which is very good. So I passed the Children of Letha on, but with this I've been intrigued for the longest time, and I saw that it was for sale at Salon des Arcans, formerly known as Roi de Coupe, on Instagram, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna order that shit. He also sells my tarot deck, by the way. He's one of the wholesalers that pledged during the campaign. And you know, like, this whole package is so well made. Like, even the bag like fits really perfectly around it, even with the box in it. So, you know, I like that. Another deck that I sort of rediscovered, the Sabbath Tarot. I have the big box behind me, but I rarely ever look into it. But this is, you know, this is another one of my more expensive decks that I'm sort of scared to use because it was so expensive, and now I'm kind of like, you know what? These were meant to be used, weren't they? And I just love it so much. Speaking of deck cost, I totally get why this deck is so expensive. Can you imagine the amount of money it must have cost to find, and hours it must have cost to find models that are comfortable doing these pretty provocative nude shoots? You know, and it's not pictures of the same guy all the time. They're like lots of different guys and girls in this deck, and it's just one of my favorites. It's nude, but it's never vulgar, and it's just stunning. And I should use this more. So yeah, this is definitely going to be used more. And this is, like I said, it's another one of those photo manipulation style decks that I really enjoy. Speaking of that, I don't have that on my table right now, but it's literally behind my table. I had the best reading event ever at a city nearby, and it was just fabulous. It was so amazing. I was booked from 1 till 7, no fee. Just ask, you know, your clients for money. 1 to 7 non-stop bookings, non-stop readings all day long. So that was just amazing. Made a shit ton of money. It was fun, first and foremost. And I used the Starchild Tarot, and I was like, this deck works so well for me because it's not necessarily very Rider-Waite Smithian. It's sort of pippish. It's very pippish. And that works for me in that public setting because I can spin the story myself. I loved working with that deck so much. Another deck I love, I did a review on this yesterday. It's just so good. I'm not gonna show that. You can literally watch the flip through on the channel. The Celestial Frequencies, adore it, and it's a really practical little deck. Another one that's in my crate. So we're kind of having this aesthetically pleasing photo manipulated moment, and then we're having sort of mixed in with witchy dark shit. Why am I already taking the lid off the box? Who cares? I got this. So I kind of vowed to never buy another US Games deck because reasons. And you know, I couldn't keep that promise to myself because I had to have it. And I don't know what it's like in other countries, but US Games decks in the Netherlands can get kind of pricey. So when I saw on Amazon that this was super affordable all of a sudden, I was like, okay, I gotta click buy now. Because sometimes Amazon has these like weird price glitches, and when I looked like 5 minutes later, it was more expensive again. So yeah, I don't know, like the markup for US Games decks, you know, I get that there is, you know, extra shipping involved, blah, blah, blah. But the markup for their decks in Europe is insane, honestly. Sometimes we'll pay about $10 more than you guys do, and that, yeah, that would be the added shipping price per deck if you would individually ship all those decks over here, but they're being shipped in bulk. It's a little bit sketchy. The distributor for their decks in Europe, do better, man. Another one that I got and that I do like, although I have to be honest, I do have a deck that's like this that's better, is the Radiant Wilds Tarot. I don't even think I'm going to do a review on this. This is very much giving me Rockpool trying to find something that looks like the She-Wolf Tarot, and I already have that. Although I must say, and I will be using it this month, it's stunning. And it's not completely similar. You know, like I'm not dissing the creator, Nat Gersberger, at all. It is a really gorgeous deck in its own right, especially this one. This is one of my favorite cards, the Hierophant. Love that. Also, I love it when creators know how to spell the Hierophant. It's stunning, it's gorgeous, it's everything. It's just that the style of collage mixed with illustration looks a bit much like a deck that I already have. So I don't know if this is gonna stay in my collection indefinitely. The cardstock that Rockpool uses nowadays is, you know, feels worse than it is. It actually shuffles really well, so that's going in the crate as well. Ooh, this is one that I got as well, and I'm kind of curious about this. I was really impressed by the guidebook. I know Martin hates this because it looks too cartoony, which is true. However, and I know a lot of people online hate it because the cardstock is supposedly really bad. Let me tell y'all, I'm holding it up in the light right now. Holding it against the light of the screen. There is no image showing through these cards, so I wish I could test it even better. Maybe I'm gonna. All right. Like this is definitely cardstock that has at least a blue core, and it's made to be used. And this, you know, and I like the thinner cardstock sometimes because, you know, I'm a girth queen. I love my 400 GSM Super Luxe, blah blah blah. But when it comes to usability, especially in a live reading setting, This cardstock feels really good. It has a really nice coating as well. Kind of feels like a UV matte scratch resistant coating, which I love. I find the choice of backs interesting, considering there's so much history behind the thelemic, is it the thelemic cross? Whatever, the cross on the back of the original Thoth. They chose to go with Aleister Crowley's Mark of the Beast sigil thing, whatever the hell this is again. Probably to get a sort of reversible back design, which is fine. You know, this is not a deck for Thoth purists, but it does incorporate the color scales really effectively, which I like. It looks cute. It's nice for a change. I kind of hoped that they would have forgotten to include the card titles. They didn't, which is kind of why I never use these, why I never use a standard Thoth deck in a public setting, because people get thrown off by the keywords. Yet it's a really cute little rendition. Some changes here and there, but it's cute. She's cute, so I do love her a lot. You know, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the, you know, what's that style of art called again? That 60s, 70s style. I love this Empress. I think she looks really dope. What other card did I love again? Like, there were some changes that I really liked. And some of them which I didn't, but you know, like, is this gonna trump my Millennium Thoth? No. But I do like it. For example, the Aeon, because of the crisp art style, sometimes some like concepts and details are clearer. So you could easily use this as a Thoth study deck with any book on Thoth, because most of the little details are here if you're interested in that. For example, I love what they did to the change card. Like, it's kind of giving me a Barbara Walker vibe, so that's really dope. I wonder if I can find the cards that I was looking for, because I do kind of want to show them. 7 of Discs, for example, is a little like too sparse for my liking, but they did really hold on to the court cards as well, and also the I wonder if I already like. I found one of them. I found 2 of the cards that I really liked. So the Fool looks really different from the original. Sort of almost has this. Can we get this to focus, please? Sort of almost has this like dragon-esque. Fuck, it won't focus. That's annoying. Can we like get this bitch to focus, please? Well, whatever. You can kind of see it. Sort of has this dragon-esque feel. I really like the High Priestess too, because it highlights the yellow of her a little bit more, whereas I feel like in a lot of reinterpretation she's always very blue. It's all very blue. And then the for the Magus, that I found that very interesting. In the regular Thoth, we get a Hermes type of figure, and in this deck, we get a Thoth type figure. So I do need to find him, though. It also kind of reminds me of Tarot of the Stars Eternal, but then without the Decans in the minor. So it does have that feel as well. But it's very traditional. So it's definitely a Thoth clone rather than a reinterpretation, bar a couple ones. So they did change the Magus to a different deity, which I think it's interesting, you know, but I rather would have had the traditional one. Anyways, it comes in this really weird box thing. The guidebook, from what I've read so far, is also pretty cute. Nothing I haven't seen before. But it's a cute set. It's a cute little set. May use it this month. And then the literary tarot I got from Iran. It's actually right behind me over there. But I can't reach for it right now because I was cleaning up, and I'll tell about that later. But I did use this already, the Threadbound Oracle by Cedar McLeod, and I used it together with the Literary Tarot, and that looks really cool. But I have to be honest, y'all, I'll never get rid of this deck because I love it. I love the concept behind it. This is probably one of the most interesting Oracle decks I have, concept-wise. And the art looks really special. This Oracle deck has pip cards. It has a major and a minor arcana. And right now we're looking at the Suit of Ink, which is really cool. But there's something about Cedar's art style that I just don't like. It's a bit too cartoony for me. And I know I've mentioned this before, but it is very rough around the edges, very cartoony. It's a very inclusive deck, though, so it's definitely a deck for those people that like quirky, modern-looking, colorful, vibrant decks that have people of all shapes, sizes, genders, and colors in it. But I don't know if I'm one of these people, so I'm not, I'm all for this femme presenting black guy with a beard, but it is a bit much for me personally. But it's fabulous too, I can't, and the quality is perfect, and I do like it a lot. And like I said, probably never getting rid of it because of its system. But I wouldn't mind the system being opened up for other people to have their own artistic takes on it, if you get what I'm saying. But I do love it. I also have, a lot of the decks I have are very much in weird boxes too. This Tarot of the Old Gods by Scylla Conway, I've been loving it so much. I once said I will never buy a Scylla Conway deck, and here we are. I adore it. The quality is really amazing. It's pips, gorgeous, glorious pips. And it just, I don't know, I haven't been able to put it down, basically. It's so good. Look at this star card. Oh, man, it's so cool, so gorgeous. So, yeah, and this Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles is, like, one of my favorite cards. And, like, whenever you hear people say, I always look for the High Priestess because that's my deal breaker card. Oh, my God. And the Queen of Wands. For me, that's the Two of Pentacles because I love a good traditional Two of Pentacles like this. And I think it's stunning. But yeah, it's a really cool deck. It looks a bit more, it's a little less abstract than Miss Conway's other efforts. But the box, the two-parter box with the non-closing, and the cards constantly fly out, and the book is like stuck in this flap. And let me show you how the box is. So, and this is what they don't tell you on the YouTube. So it's a wonderful box, but then you open it up and there's like no closure. So whenever I put it like this in my cabinet, the cards tend to like fall out kind of. And then the guidebook is stuck in here, and it's pretty difficult to get out. So you should know that before you buy. But yeah, I don't know. The vibrancy of this, it's just stunning. We get a very thoughty magician here. I love the strength card. The scepters are really cool suit. Oh, look at that Ace of Cups. So she really did that. She did that. I think it's such a powerful looking deck. All the sacred geometry, the color work, it's very cool. While normally this would not be my thing, what would have made it even better would have been probably a different finish on the cards, but that's just me being nitpicky. But yeah, such a special deck. So this is kind, like I said, this is kind of my selection because I'm not making any promises I can't keep. So this is, like I said, kind of my selection. However, you know, once again, not making any promises I can't keep. I do reserve the right to change my mind. Because I was playing with this earlier, the Yogic Path. And I was like, that wasn't part of my selection, but I did love playing with it. Another one in an atrocious box. And people are gonna like, this guidebook could have been in, no, it's a good guidebook, but I was about to say this guidebook could have been an email, but it could have been smaller. So that it all could have fit in a slightly slightly girthier, thicker box. But you know, like, I paid 18 euros for this, and I have never in my life seen a mass market deck with matte lamination this good and gold foil printing on the back on a cardstock that has such great quality that the stamp doesn't, you know, sometimes you will see this stamp indentations on the other side of the card. That didn't happen, and you know, Daniel Noel's collage art is just really pretty. And people say that this is really guidebook heavy, but once you've used it a couple of times, you start becoming familiar with the terms and the deities, and you're kind of like, oh, I don't really need the guidebook anymore. But it's definitely not one, when I hear people say, I use this purely intuitively, nah. The cards kind of don't really depict action, or the cards are very much depict the yoga pose or the deity or the concept or archetype, not necessarily a very active scene. So whenever people mention that, I'm kind of like, meh. And while I was looking at that, I was also playing with this because they go together beautifully. My Threads of Fate first edition, which is really special because this is the only edition they've never reprinted. And I pulled this card. This is when this was still like photo collage and sigilly golden line work, and it's just so stunning, and it will remain a favorite forever. So, you know, I may use all the decks I showed earlier, but I may change shit up. Like I said, I'm kind of feeling the pretty aesthetic vibes, but I'm also kind of feeling the funky, witchy, darker vibes because I recently added this to my collection as well. I probably will do a full review on this because I feel like this is kind of a misunderstood deck. I feel like the Laura Tempest Zarkov Oracle decks are the only good Llewellyn Oracle decks out there. But this is, you know, this is very much a symbol deck that you can use so well intuitively if you wanted to. You could use it, you know, kind of. It's not a quick reader, so this is not one where you, at least not yet for me, where I pull a couple of cards and give you the reading, blah, blah, blah. But it's definitely one where I pull a couple of cards and actually sit down to weave together the message. I love this illustration, by the way. These were my cards for the day: the amulet, the sound, and my favorite one, the Baba Yaga House play. So stunning deck, really different from the Liminal Spirits Oracle, but similar in that vein where it's not a very standard Oracle deck in that sense of, hey, we're gonna give you a very clear keywords or key concepts, but it is kind of that, you know, sit down, look at these symbols, think about them, and weave the story together. And I do love reading like that. So there was another deck that I had, but why is it gone now? What the hell? Oh yeah, I actually put it here because I almost sold this, the Mystical Dream Tarot, because I never reached for it, and then So tomorrow morning I have a very busy morning, so I won't be able to post my card of the day. So I kind of pulled it before I pulled my card of tomorrow, like 10 minutes ago. So I took a pic. It is on glossy stock, but whatever. And I don't know, the art in this is just so stunning. Um, you know, I kind of like changed my mind about this one because I have to tell you, I do love it. I thought it would be more than what it is. But you know, it is what it is. You know, I thought this deck would be like more special. I thought it would be a mind-blowing like new system like the Dreams of Gaia, but it's not really, but still it's really gorgeous. And I think it's a really good dupe for the Prisma Visions Tarot if you're kind of into that style. It's very expressionistic and really stunning. I mean, look at the cards on the back. I think a lot of people, the reason why I never picked this up before was because of this is the Fool card, and I think it's the most boring card in the deck, yet they chose it for the cover. so yeah, so I'm also using that this month. And you know what, so I sort of showed you my selection, but whenever I feel pulled towards another deck in my collection, obviously I'm going to use it. I hope you kind of like this rambly bullshit video. I know I did. Talking to you guys is so much fun. You guys really don't know how much this means to me. So thank you for watching, and bye, bitches.